Struggling with confidence doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It simply means that you're just human and you care about certain things. Today, I'm going to share with you a mindset shift that's really going to help you start tackling this lack of confidence. All right, let's jump in. Most of us think that confidence is this lack of fear, that you'll just feel fully ready or prepared at some point to take action, but that's actually not true. When we really think about confidence, it's really a skill to be able to be with this discomfort and still take action. Because the truth is, like, the fear isn't going to go away, or at least in my experience with a lot of people that I've worked with, they will continue to have fear about things. Like, I still have fear about showing up here on YouTube. Every single time I'm going to record a new video, I think, what if I sound off? What if this sounds weird? What if I'm saying the wrong thing? All these things, this fear, this uncertainty, this doubting myself shows up. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't go through and do the action, right? So when we think about confidence, it's really more important to think about the courage to be able to move through or sit with this fear rather than waiting for this fear to just go away, rather than waiting for this magical moment when you'll feel 100% ready, because that usually doesn't really happen. What actually starts to happen is that you start to build the skill and tolerance in being able to notice and acknowledge these feelings and still take action. So from this perspective of really tapping into your values, which is a lot of what I do with the work with my clients from the acceptance and commitment therapy and coaching, is tapping into your values. Like, if you really want to pursue something, how can you pursue this? Because it really is important to you despite the fear and discomfort showing up. Because usually the things that matter to us will cause discomfort, right? So for me, why is it important for me to share knowledge and tips through YouTube? It's important for me to share things that I could help other people. I love hearing when my content does help other people. And also, realistically, it's important for me to put myself out there as a professional, marketing, all these things that feel really uncomfortable but are important to me, right? So again, it's this piece that when something really matters to us, it is going to generate fear. The good news is the more that you practice this, the more that you're able to acknowledge and start to let go of this expectation that the fear or doubt is going to go away, the more you can just say, this is just going to be part of the process, right? So if you think about, if I go to the gym and I do really hard work, I get sore. I'm not expecting, that's not going to happen. Clearly over time, the more you go to the gym, you're not going to have that sore feeling. But if you do a new move or if you do something different, of course, you're going to expect that soreness is going to show up. You wouldn't expect that's not the case, or you wouldn't expect, I'll only start doing the exercise when I know for sure that experience won't happen. That's not realistic. The mind shift here is really making room for fear, right? So instinctually, a lot of times when we feel this fear, we have a natural reaction to want to push away, avoid it, not look at it, right? And as humans, again, we try to avoid pain to a certain degree from an evolutionary perspective. That's kept us alive when we think about external things that cause us pain. But when we think about the internal, it looks a lot different, right? So when we think about fear, your mind might tell you, you have to promise all this, you have to push this, you have to resist this. But the truth is, the more that we resist, persist. And so we really have to start to make room for this discomfort and expect that it might show up. And listen, sometimes it might not show up and then you become pleasantly surprised. But when you're doing something new and you want to put yourself out there and you need that courage to build that confidence, then it's helpful to expect that it might show up. And so the more you can kind of notice and make room for this, and starting by saying oh my gosh, I feel so overwhelmed, really starting to shift okay, let's really think about what's going on for me here. I'm scared about saying something wrong. I'm noticing that really shows up as tension in my body. I'm noticing that shows up as me talking faster. I'm noticing that also shows up as me wanting to just go hide in a corner, right? Really starting to pick apart these different pieces that show up with this fear and really noticing these are just thoughts or feelings or parts of these experiences that you're having that you can learn to sit with. And the more you can name it and label it, the less scary it will feel. And the more you can acknowledge that your mind is just trying to protect you by thinking about all these things that could go wrong. And like we talked about in another video, you can also acknowledge the things that can go well, or at least acknowledge that you are willing to sit with this discomfort because it's something that really matters to you. And listen, a lot of times I'll talk to clients, if one big move feels too big, break it down, start smaller, right? Is there something that you could do before, right? So my example, maybe recording a whole YouTube video feels hard. Could you start with the YouTube short, or could you start with the reel, or could you start with just doing a post? Whatever the case is, break things down to start kind of having this practice with this smaller things, build that confidence, and then keep moving on to things that are harder and harder. And if you get anything from this video, the most important thing is that the only way that you really start to build more confidence is through action, right? A lot of times I see that people get paralyzed and stuck in an action with fear, and that's not really going to help them somehow gain the courage or the confidence that they need, or they really start to get into this. I see this a lot with people I work with. If I just learn more, if I just research more, if I just become more expert in certain things, then eventually I'll feel more confident. And the truth is maybe it'll help a little bit. And then I'm not even against wanting to learn or grow, but acknowledging that really the only way is to start taking those intentional, small, consistent steps forward. That's what's going to help you really build that confidence, right? And that's really when you think about that courage, that's really what you need to cultivate. In the comments below, what's one area where lack of confidence or fear really gets you stuck? Taking this to practice. Like, here's an example. Let's say you want to start dating again. And so let's say you see the cute barista at Starbucks and you want to like ask them out. And so really you kind of start to think, okay, what if I just make a comment, or at least, just start to put it out there, make conversation. And then immediately you kind of have this fear and lack of confidence in this sense of like, oh, well, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they reject me? What if they really reject me? What if they're really harsh? Right? So what you're going to first start to do, you're going to really notice that experience, right? So you're going to notice like, okay, so there's those lack of confidence thoughts again. There's those what if thoughts. Ooh, here's this fear in like my chest that's really feels heavy. Okay, thank you, mind. You're just trying to protect me. Like, I can sit with this. I can be with this. And again, in that moment, if you need to do something, whether it's like, okay, I'm going to take a moment, breathe into this experience and decide like, why is this important to me? Like, why is it worth it? And this is really, really important. Whenever you're doing this, I will tell clients, like, really acknowledge, because there's no guarantees. That's why I feel so hard and vulnerable, is that you don't know if it's going to work out, right? They might reject you, and that might be really hard, and that might bring up a whole bunch of thoughts and feelings. So a lot of times I'll also tell clients to prep, or coachees, like, okay, if this doesn't work out, not that I don't think it will, but again, also being prepared for whatever is going to show up. And see, this is the thing. A lot of times I find that people can actually move through things a lot better than they give themselves credit for, because this isn't new stuff. They've been feeling this, having these same old thoughts and feelings for a long time. These tend to be like old patterns, old stories that have shown up. But either way, I don't want that to stop them, but I want them to be prepared and also acknowledge, like, why would it be worth it, right? Not knowing what the outcome could be, because there's no guarantees. Why would it be worth it for you? And sometimes not only the, in this sense, like connection. Well, obviously I want a relationship. I want a partner. Okay, well, this is the only way to start to do that, right? So, okay, are you willing to take these like small risks with the hope that at some point this is what it will manifest to? And the other really cool thing is like, this is like these micro moment where you're also building this skill. So regardless of the outcome, I always tell clients like this is the work, right? Right here, this thing of like you being willing to like put yourself out there, like regardless of what happens. Of course, I want it to work out well, but that's the thing that you need to really practice and get really good at. This is the workout that you need to do. So acknowledging like, okay, what would be one small step? And maybe you're not yet ready to ask this barista for their phone number, but maybe you're ready to at least strike up a conversation, like, talk a little bit longer than just, give your order. Okay, that's progress. That's one small step you're willing to do. You do have the capacity and ability to build the skill of confidence and courage. I 100% believe that for every single person, because it's not something that you're born with. It's a skill that you can really move through and build. And there's a whole bunch of other skills that's going to help you get there, right? And one of these is this mindset shift, or this ability to be with this discomfort. But hey, if this is something you're struggling with, you're not alone. If you need help with this mindset or these places where maybe you're not sure where you're getting stuck, check my link below, my link tree, to see how we can start working together one-on-one for coaching. Because again, sometimes we might not see things, or we get really stuck in the weeds or our old patterns, and it's helpful to have an outside perspective to get us out of that, or to give us tools and skills that maybe we're unaware of. All right, guys. Well, like I always say, I encourage you to continue nurturing your mind, body, and soul, whatever that looks like for you. Thanks.